from Brookvale Oval, welcome. A very big crowd in here. They opened the Ken Arthurson stand just earlier on today, and the Eagles flying high, unbeaten in the competition, led out by Captain Jeff Tuvey. A personal assignment of great height for him today. There's an Australian jumper waiting. Ridge, Elsgood, Moore, Hill, Hopewadi, Lyons, Tuvey, Gillespie, Hasler, Carroll, Menzies, Roberts, Kosef. 4 of them backing up from origin duties. There's the Arthurson stand. Basically links. Alan Langer takes the Broncos out. They haven't won here at Brookvale since 1992. Here's their side with Darren Smith back in the lineup. Brad Thorne goes into the second row, replacing Peter Ryan. O'Neill, Saylor, Hancock, Johns, Kahn, Walters, Langer, Lazarus, Kerrod Walters, G. Thorne, Cannon, Smith. Just a light breeze blowing down the ground. It's behind Brisbane for the first 40 minutes. Manly starts. Lazarus brings it back on the first occasion. The ball comes out. It'll be a penalty against Lyons for raking the ball out. One-on-one. You probably know my feelings on this rule now, but there it is. Brisbane then. With Andrew G reaching the 40-metre line. Now Cam. He's been almost to the halfway line. Peter Sterling joins me in commentary today.
A very important rate for Brisbane to get a good start as Lazarus takes the ball 41 out from the Manly try line. They allowed points to be scored against them in the first minute against North a couple of weeks ago. Took them a long time to recover. They can't afford that kind of start against a Manly side so confident at the moment.
Example of Manly's intensity in defence delivered as they made that last run. The Brisbane side, Ridge is back there with work to do. Can he get it back into play? Ridge tackled in goal.
Took his time, Matthew Ridge, but an excellent kick. Put the ball into the in-goal area. It touched his leg. That meant that it was play on. A tremendous chase from Kevin Walters, as he always is, first down there to greet the ball carrier.
Now, for Kerrod Walters to give to Andrew G. He turns it in. Lazarus puts it down. Knock on. Tuvey working the scrum. Manly from the centre of the park. And Tuvey runs at Hancock, and he tries to put Hill down the ground. Hill is pulled down on the halfway line. The crowd loved it. Now a penalty goes to Manly. Against the tackler, Hill and Wendell Saylor have words.
The penalty wasn't against Saylor. I think you'll find it was against Michael Hancock for pushing down in the tackle longer than the referee liked. There's Saylor on top. There's the push down from Hancock. That was the penalty. No love lost between Terry Hill and Wendell Saylor.
Manly finding the line now. 35 metres out from the Broncos line, and here's Carroll. Like a charging Bronco. 25 out. Carroll, very, very much a player in contention for one of the green and gold jumpers to play New Zealand. First match on a Friday night, June 23 in Brisbane. 22 metres out now from the Broncos line as we come away to the blind side. A fairly wide blind side. Menzies was able to get from one, but he's pulled down on the 20-metre line. Menzies looking for his real form that has deserted him really in State of Origin. Gillespie did well. Hasler's there, tries to promote, lofts the ball out. Right back, battered down by Danny Moore. John Hopewadi inside the 10, looking for the corner. He gets it down. I think they're going to give a try. Manson looks at his touch judge. It's a try. John Hopewadi. That's 4 tries in 2 Winfield Cup matches. 3 wasn't it the other day against Canberra. Now 1 against Brisbane. And
he had plenty of work to do, but look at the quality play here from Danny Moore. Started by David Gillespie, got a great pass away with 2 tacklers hanging on. The Des Hasler pass, batted on by Danny Moore. That drew the winger in, Willie Kahn. And you see there, Hopewadi was able to stand up Chris Johns, and not many players in the game can do that. Gillespie did a fine job here, taking a couple of players out and still keeping the ball alive. Hasler realising there was a chance out wide. A long loopy cut-out pass. Willie Kahn came in off the wing. Hopewadi and in and away against Chris Johns. No room to work in, gets the ball down before going over the sideline.
That's his 11th try of the season. That makes him the equal leading try scorer for 1995. Matthew Reid from the side. This will take all his expertise, and he's hooked it just a little. So Manly over Brisbane 4-0 in Sunday Night League. David Manson calling a halt. Now he says play on. Langer lets it deep. Oh, intercepted. Lions came out of the line. He goes out to the 40. Terry Hill supports him, and Hill is tackled 3 metres into Brisbane's area.
Well, I can't believe Brisbane didn't take the kick at goal as Lions looks on the blind side for Matthew Ridge. Brisbane defence getting back. It'll be a penalty, and we'll have a touch charge in now for a high tackle by Julian O'Neill. And here we go. It's on again.
Well, it's almost become commonplace this week in rugby league. It's still going on in there, but now the flames are subsiding.
A very strong tackle involving both Alan Cairn and Julian O'Neill was deemed to be high by the touch judge. That's why he was coming in. Again, I can't believe the Broncos didn't take a gift 2 points in front of the posts. Cliff Lyons getting up very quickly off the line. The little stutter there from Alan Langer, the double pump always puts pressure on, led to the mistake. Terry Hill backing up Lyons. In the ensuing play, Matthew Ridge hitting a strong tackle. In fact, it was Andrew G, not Alan Cairn. Nick Kosef wasn't too impressed. Plenty of players looking to get involved. Well, the big difference between the two sides is the fact that one is controlling the football and the other paying no heed to their ball control at all as Manly go wide. Terry Hill trying to stand up. Hancock finds Elsgood back on the inside, but wrapped up by Saylor. They've got to start stringing together some sets of 6.
So it's Hasler a dummy half and decides to go for a run himself. He dances into the forward line. They didn't put him away. He then went further across. Ridge is the next player to handle for Manly, and Matthew Ridge is held and put away, banged into the ground by Lazarus over the top. And Hasler again is there for dummy half work. Carroll says, I want it. Up he goes, the big fella. Runs it straight at Langer. Hopewadi comes off his wing. He's able to stand and beat 2. Steps around the 3rd. He's beaten Willie Kahn again. He's away from Alan Langer. Now it's out with Danny Moore. Back into the centre for Kosef. Kosef's going to score. This has been miraculous. There might have been a centre forward pass, but talk about support play, and what about John Hopewadi?
Yeah, Hopewadi going great. So too the try scorer, Nick Kosef. Beautiful hands to take that pass over the top at the end there. But Manly keeping the ball alive. Mark Carroll threw an ordinary pass. Hopewadi through some woeful defence there. And good defenders. He's beaten the likes of Chris Johns and Willie Kahn. Alan Langer came up with a tackle. That looked a touch forward. Danny Moore, that looked even further forward. Kosef with one arm able to take the ball in to score besides second try. Grave doubts about a couple of those passes there, but Manly, they've played well enough to have this sort of lead. Hopewadi, tremendous work there to beat 3 defenders. And Danny Moore, who again has been close to Manly's best, along with Nick Kosef, combined to score their second.
Ridge now from close proximity converts the Manly try, and Manly lead Brisbane 10-0. Cliffy Lyons has left the park, and Owen Cunningham has gone on for Manly. But just reflecting on that try on the replays, I would say definitely 2 forward passes. Carroll is tackled on his 20-metre line. I guess people are rushing off to be critical of the referee, but what about the other 2 fellows? They didn't offer much support either, it would seem, as Cunningham comes out to the 30-metre line almost.
And Cliff Lyons did limp from the field, so there must be some doubt as to whether he will take any further part in this match.
Oh, that's high. It's the same offender. It's Andrew G. Now, he was involved in the hit on Matthew Ridge. Andrew G is under the microscope again.
That'll be the last warning. Andrew G obviously being told to keep them down.
You mightn't rate him highly. As a person, I rate him very highly, David Manson. But it takes a pretty horrifying incident for him to just point the finger. He's always prepared to negotiate.
I think it's a good decision too, Ray.
I think the end of the negotiations is with us, though.
I think no doubt that's the case, but I do think that the tackle went up from the shoulder, up high, almost off the ball again, and it's a problem for referees. It can almost look worse than what it actually is. Des Hasler throws the face pass to Ian Roberts, who in turn offloads to Jeff Tuvey.
Tuvey just on his own side of the halfway. And Hasler uses Gillespie, and again the big front rowers run it at the small halves. Langer and Walters, they've been coming up in the line, but very often they're looking at blokes like Mark Carroll and David Gillespie. Hasler now 40 metres away from the Brisbane line. Manly leading 10-0 as Kosef supplied. That pass was forward from Tuvey. You see, Manson's back with the defence line, and there's a touch judge standing in line with the pass, and he still didn't say anything. The kick goes up in the air off the boot of Nick Kosef. It is batted back and then knocked on, and Brisbane get the advantage, and they try to use it. Kevin Walters using Willie Kahn. He runs into Roberts and Kosef and is put away.
The Brisbane now really need to value possession. That's a good run from Kerrod Walters, an easy 10 metres up the blind side, but somehow they've got to get some quality ball, try string it together, and another mistake made through some strong defence. Ian Roberts now trying to offload, but Glenn Lazarus was the player responsible for coughing up the ball once again.
Well, we talked about this on the footy show in Sydney today. Brisbane got away to a bad start against the Bears. Here's Gillespie holding Thorne back, and he gets it away for Menzies. Menzies is able to promote it. Kosef runs it now just outside the 30. Ridges there. He takes it on, not held. Goes again to the 20. Comes to the defence line, and there he's put away. They look for a quick play, the ball, Manly. They're looking for their third try. It's away for Kosef, then supplied for Tuvey. Short pass for Cunningham, and that's a great tackle. It was performed by Kerrod Walters. Tuvey now goes back to the open side. Langer's got him. He pulls him down. 22 metres out. Centre of the ground. Hasler out from dummy half. There's yards to be gained there for Hasler. Now he finds Moore. It's Tuvey going with him. Moore stands, and now he goes down. 7 metres out from the line. Tackle number 5 is there for Manly. Hasler looks for Tuvey. Lyons is off the park. Tuvey rolls it into the end goal, and the ball just goes over the dead ball line. Does it or does it go off Brisbane?
No, I think you'll find it's gone off Brisbane. Kerrod Walters forced to kick it out, so it'll be a line drop out. You will never see worse marker defence than Alan Langer and Andrew G allowing Hasler up the middle of the ruck. And there the hooker forced to play at the ball before copying a don't argue from David Gillespie.
So, high pressure, high drama. Timeout called by Manson. Heading on a football. The ball was towed into the crowd by Kerrod Walters. Gillian O'Neill, with the advantage of the breeze behind him, has been able to perform a 56-metre drop kick, and Carroll, with plenty of space to wind it up, is not going to be an easy target, but 3 Broncos made it seem that way. And 2 of them have been working very hard in the front row forwards, Lazarus and G. 35 metres out from the Brisbane line. Hasler away for Gillespie. Infield pass for Kosef. Back it goes for Hasler. Hasler looks to actually run Gillespie onside. He's not held. Away he goes again. Back and across the 30-metre line, and he's tackled back where he started from. Play back for Ridge, and Ridge uses Roberts, and Roberts, he works it up towards the 20-metre line. Right in the centre of the park. Alan Cann was the tackler. Brisbane really on their heels as Manly with Jeff Tuvey sliced through, and it's with Gillespie. He runs towards the touchline. He still gets it away, but Danny Moore makes his first mistake of the game. Serving the scrum, and Brisbane will come away with it now. Let's see if they can hold it for 6 tackles and then get it down the other end of the park. O'Neill! Almost through. Gap was closed, though, by Terry Hill. find Michael Hancock taking the next run. The second play for Brisbane to the 35-metre point. And it's Kerrod Walters taking play number 3. After 10 rounds, Manly unbeaten. Brisbane beaten once, and that was by Canberra. This is Brad Thorne. That's how they look, and the points for and against. Brisbane not scoring as many points as Manly and letting more in. So if statistics point to anything, Manly are the team most favoured to win. And this is Matthew Ridge away from his 10-metre line. He uses Jack Elsgood. Elsgood, he's got plenty of speed, but Langer's tackle was a beauty.
One of the greatest indicators of how a side is going is what their kick chase is like. A very staggered line going up from Brisbane, chasing that Kevin Wallace kick. As Hopewadi gets a good ball to Danny Moore. Kerrod Walters gets bumped off.
Danny Moore is still with it. 42 metres out from the Brisbane line on the second tackle. And the crowd went up and went down again. They thought the third try was coming. It still might. Kosef picks up Hill. Hill is taken by Hancock. Then he tries to step free of it. And more of the Brisbane players come in to make Terry Hill play the football. 42 metres away from the Brisbane line. Ridge gives it away for Carroll. Carroll takes it up on the 12th occasion in the match now. He'll play the ball 38 metres away from the Brisbane line. It's with Gillespie now. And Gillespie, who's had a superb game, he's put down on the 30-metre line. And 5 tackles are gone for the Eagles, leading by 10 points to 0. Tuvey with a short ball for Ridge, and then he puts a kick purposefully into the corner behind Wendell Saylor. Saylor equal to the task, rounded up by Menzies. Passes back into the in-goal for O'Neill. O'Neill has got Roberts confronting him, and Roberts makes the tackle with Danny Moore. Just outside the Brisbane 10-metre line. They go away for Willie Kahn to take the play out. And if some of the Brisbane forwards look tired, they're entitled to be. They've made 90 tackles, Brisbane, and Manly have made 60. Lazarus comes away off his 20-metre point. He's put down by Cunningham.
A flat run there from Glenn Lazarus, but what a marvellous season Nick Kosef is having for the Manly side, as Alan Can tackled 38 out from his own line. Kosef is actually playing 5'8" out there now with Cliff Lyons off the field, and he's doing it with ease.
I haven't got a breakdown on time in possession in your opponent's territory, but it would be ranking very high for Manly. As this ball goes over the dead ball line, it'll come back to the 20-metre point for the restart. Missed tackle statistic, most important. Brisbane have missed 13 tackles, and we haven't got a missed tackle on our statistics for Manly. So 13-0, the missed tackle count. And Brisbane leading in that department as Roberts' pass goes out the back, helped out by Brisbane. 6 more tackles. Hill ducked into that tackle, and he's put away. And that's the first tackle, says referee David Manson. Hasler's pass over for Tuvey. Tuvey steps off his left foot, goes for a gap. Here goes the little captain. He's up to the 30-metre line. Now, Menzies. He tries to fend away from Kahn. Kahn pulls him down. Menzies will play it close to the line. A bit of interference over there. Ridge is with it. Kahn pulls him down. And here's Manson in the sin bin, is it? Yes, it's the sin bin. For which player? Willie Kahn, I believe.
Yes, they appeared to come to blows over there. Great break made by Jeff Tuvey. Equally good the cover defence from Brisbane, with O'Neill combining well with Willie Kahn. But then there was a misunderstanding over the play, the ball between one of the Brisbane players and the Manly players. Matthew Ridge decides to take the quick tap. Nick Kosef now finds, well, he misses Terry Hill, cleaned up by Elsgood.
Jack Elsgood down by Wendell Saylor, and they're just outside the 20-metre line. First tackle on this new set of 6, and here's Kosef again. A good strong run takes him inside that point. Hasler looks for Carroll. Carroll was the decoy. Gillespie is the runner. He stands and unloads. They've got 3. They've got 4 on 2. Moore goes for the corner. Hopewadi comes back in. I thought they could have kept going for the corner. They had 4 on 2. It's played by Hopewadi back for Menzies. Away to Hasler onto Tuvey. Tuvey then for Cunningham. Cunningham across and inside for Ridge. Ridge back for Roberts. Roberts flops the ball down for Cunningham. They're losing ground, Manly. Now Cunningham straightens it, and he's put down 19 metres away from the Brisbane line. 10 points to 0 as Hasler goes on for Tuvey. The ball comes loose and Brisbane knock it on. And will it be advantage? It'll be 6 more. 6 more for Manly. Everything's going their way. They're on the 20-metre line with 6 more tackles. Hasler, he goes ahead 10 metres to the 10-metre point. Danny Moore is the dummy half. Now for Roberts. Roberts runs towards the uprights, looks to give it back. He gives it back now, and there's Danny Moore. He's put away. 7 metres out from the line, right in front of the uprights. Brisbane under siege again. Hasler comes away. It's with Kosef, now with Ridge, now with Hill. Hill, he's put away there and tackled by Matheson. Played back to Ridge. Ridge says to Hill, stay alive. Then he gets it back. Cunningham, he's strong and tough, but he's not able to get it across the line.
Well, big numbers to the left for Manly. It is the last tackle. They should be prepared to run it here.
It's out with Jeff Tuvey, a long, accurate pass. Then Roberts, then Menzies. Menzies decides to take them on, and the ball comes down. And it is the turnover for Brisbane, and you really must salute Brisbane's defence there.
I do think Steve Menzies took the wrong option there and should have looked for his outside supports. We're not far out from half-time. If Brisbane are to be any chance in this game, they've got to hang on and have no further points scored against them.
So Alan Cann it is who bulks his way out to the 20-metre line. And now it's away for Thorne. And Thorne hit and put down by Carroll over the top of the Roberts tackle. Hasler's made 11 tackles and he leads the count for Manly. Carroll leads the hit-ups at 12, Roberts at 10 as Brisbane go along the line with this adventurous football, and it's away with Matheson, but it's been forward, so it'll be another scrum with Manly to have the feed.
I think the touch judge may have signalled to the referee that Kevin Walters knocked on. There's this pass throw and one motion there. There's the knock on there before he was able to pass the ball to Terry Matheson. A shake of the head. Not far out from the half-time break. This could just about determine how this game is going to go. If Manly can get over the line, we can shut the gate.
Manly just inside the 40-metre line, and it's Tuvey who runs himself, which he's done more frequently late in the half. He plays it. 6 more tackles, says the referee, indicating that the Broncos struck for the ball on the first tackle. Hasler is there for dummy half work, 30 metres out. They use the short side, and this is Carroll. Carroll put down just beyond the 20-metre line. Looking at the tackle counts for the 2 forwards, Brisbane have been expected to make twice as many tackles in the forward line as Manly. The ball loose on the ground, and this will be a knock-on against the Eagles. So they've frittered away the chance here.
That's the problem in trying to do too much. Remember, they are up against 12 men. They're looking to keep the ball alive at all costs. I thought it was actually a Brisbane knock-on, but the referee has seen it the other way. Alan Langer feeds the scrum and wins it. Finds Kevin Walters, who kicks for Michael Hancock, who is just onside.
Hancock gets good, coming across the ground. Will Hancock make it? Yes, he does. Hancock, he scores right on half-time.
Unbelievable work from the Broncos. The great thing about this side is their ability to absorb pressure and to hit back and to also attack from areas that they're not expected to. Only seconds out from half-time, and nobody in the whole ground expected the little kick over the top for Michael Hancock except the flying centre himself. He got a pretty good bounce, pushed through the tackle of Hopewadi. Ian Roberts did a good job to be there from the scrum base, but couldn't match it. And Jack Elsgood, a lot of territory to cover, couldn't get there in time. Kevin Walters, who's been by far Brisbane's best, he's kept them in this game at times with some scrambling cover defence, and now he's put on a try. There first, Michael Hancock, with 12 men, the Broncos score and get back into this game.
Well, Ian Roberts, I hadn't noticed just how inconvenient that right knee is proving for him. He was so game as he chased, but he was hobbling in his vain attempt to reach the Brisbane runaway, Michael Hancock. I don't know that it's expected to get any better for Ian either, but he's a war horse and a soldier on. 20 metres out, 2 metres in. This is a real test for a goal kicker back there because the sun comes in from that corner. Scoreboard corner with Brookvale. This will be a miracle kick if he lands it. O'Neill shoots, but it's offline, well and truly. 10 points to 4 then. 10-4 the score. 2 tries to 1 then. Manly over Brisbane. And you might find this hard to rationalise, but given the mistakes they've made, given the defence rate that they've been expected to carve out Wayne Bennett, I've got a feeling he'll be reasonably happy at the score line only being 6 points against him.
Well, he'll be ecstatic, I'd say, Ray. By all rights, they could have been 16 to 20 points behind with the domination of the Seagulls in this first 40 minutes. And that's the reason why the Brisbane side is struggling. Another mistake, this time from Terry Madison, and a chance for Manly as they go wide again.
Tuvey then tries to step and do the work himself. And it was Kevin Walters and Glenn Lazarus making the tackle. Lazarus making his 16th tackle of the game as Carroll takes it ahead, and that's his 15th hit up. He's just outside the 30-metre line. Gillespie, who has not lost anything alongside Mark Carroll in this debate today, let me tell you.
If they can't score a try here, Ray, I think the field goal is the option for Matthew Ridge.
Well, Ridge is standing back and directing traffic at the moment. He gives the impression that he is the end of the line on this play. Ridge is now standing close in behind the play. The ball back for Ridge. He goes for the shot. It's a low kick that had no hope. And the rush was brought about by Alan Langer. Langer put some charge down on him. And Ridge and Hazlitt sharing a joke in the meantime. I don't know that there's much to laugh about as Lazarus brings it back out now to the 30-metre line. We're practically on the halftime siren as Langer kicks. Saylor read it. Elsgood running away. A couple of juggles, into touch it goes. And I would doubt that the scrum will have an opportunity to go down. Manly will make sure that they take an age to come back. The siren has sounded, and that is the end of the first half. 10 points to 4. Manly leading, and 2 tries to 1. The halftime tackle count 113 for Brisbane, 81 for Manly. 10 points to 4 would be a satisfying scoreline for Wayne Bennett when you weigh up the disadvantages that he's been confronted with in 40 minutes of football. 10-4 then. We'll break and be back in just a moment. David Manson starts the second half. Welcome back, wherever you're watching us. A most exciting first half of football, seeing Manly leading 10 points to 4 at the break. 2 tries to 1. The tackle count at halftime overall 115 for Brisbane, 81 for Manly.
It wasn't too exciting for the Brisbane side, Ray, when you consider the amount of mistakes that they did make. They had 15 uses of the football, and they only held on to it. They dropped it 10 times. There you can see an incredible error count against them. And it's amazing to think that they're within 1 converted try of the opposition with the ball that they did hand over. 9 handling errors to 1.
Kosef it is, who had a very strong first half, playing it now just outside the 40-metre line. Tackle number 5 is gone for Manly as the ball goes into the hands of Ridge, and Kerrod Walters commissioned to put some pressure on him. The fullback O'Neill comes away now with Wendell Saylor lurking in the background, looking for the pass, but O'Neill plays it on the 30-metre line. Saylor, he comes out now. He's got that ability to put a little jink into his run and run the 90 metres and score a try. He has to be watched at all times. This is Andrew G, almost to the halfway line. Kerrod Walters now. Such has been the case, such has been the pattern of this game, that Kerrod Walters, one of the best dummy half runners in the game, I don't think he's had that opportunity thus far. This is Thorne.
The defence, especially around marker from Manly, is very good. I wrapped Kevin Walters in the first half. Kerrod, again, has had a pretty good game, despite the fact he hasn't been able to make many charges. As Steve Menzies plucks one out of the air, Alan Langer looking for the short kick. Didn't work. Straight away, Manly again go wide. Terry Hill slammed to the ground.
So Manly again Coming back to the 40-metre line, Jack Elsgood. On the side for Craig Hancock. And Manly, though Hancock is a fine winger and was rewarded with a rep jumper earlier this year. Here's Hasler making a scurry away from dummy half, then standing and offloading. Carroll across for Kosef, and Kosef is held there by, is that Darren Smith or Terry Madison? Let's just identify. It's Darren Smith as they play it on the last tackle. It's left to Ridge to put it in the air. It's high and across the ground. O'Neill with work to do. He's safe under pressure, O'Neill, and he puts it down. Here's a great chance for Manly. Manson allowing play to go on, though that ball appeared to strike Andrew G on the foot. Now, the send, Ben.
There's a professional foul there by Andrew G. If the referee had looked behind him, he had 5 Brisbane players offside. He could have sent any of them as well. And it's Andrew G, who's had an unhappy match in many respects, off to the bin.
He's called Hopewadi out for clapping and applauding Andrew G's misfortune. David Manson saying, look, take that out of your makeup, John, and you'll be a lot better for it. Now he's walked over to have a longer chat with him. Here's what happened. Let's watch it when he loses it. See that it came off the foot of Andrew G. I would have thought he was offside and it should have been a penalty. Right in front, I might add. Now, Hopewadi, he is ecstatic. You'd think he is watching Monty Python. Clapping and smiling, and here's Ridge taking the attempted penalty that I believe should have been forthcoming before that infringement. Manly extend to 12-4 over Brisbane now. Johns is going down the ground fast. Hopewadi comes away off his 10-metre line, comes away. Kevin Walters, he beats him, he beats another. He beat Madison, he comes to Lazarus. He makes the tackle with Kevin Walters. But the crowd love this boy, John Hopewadi. Scored a try in the match today, scored 3 against Canberra. And Hasler comes across the halfway mark. 5 metres into Brisbane's area now. Menzies looking for runners. Then opting to take it himself. Hasler once more. And Roberts copped that ball right on the chin. Takes the tackle. Hasler supports. Hold the phone, says referee Manson. Keep it down. And he's going to penalise Brisbane again. So Ridge with the chance to put Manly deeper into the comfort zone. He does that. A further 2 points to the Eagles. And in front of their home crowd, they lead 14-4. Hopewadi has to fall back into his own in goal. He's got a mile of time. The chase down the ground wasn't as keen as probably it would have been for Brisbane under normal circumstances. But again, their workload, it's drummed them. And it would seem impossible for them to come back from 14-4, given that situation. This is Danny Moore, 25 out from his own line. And Des Hasler using Mark Carroll. Langer's after him. Johnny Plath is in there. And then Carroll forced to play it 30 metres away from his line. This is Kosef. He goes to the outside. He finds Menzies. Menzies, he goes back for Kosef. And he's on the 40-metre line now. This youth in the back row of Manly. I'm talking mainly of Kosef and Menzies. Great futures. And the other one that was in the back row on occasions, or replacing them, was a boy called Daniel Gartner. And what a fine prospect he was going to be, and still probably is. This is O'Neill now.
Well, I don't think there's a back row in the game who can throw as nice a pass as Nick Kosef. He throws the ball like a half or a 5'8" does, always out in front of the player, enabling them to run onto it. Right on the chest. And Alan Lang, as I say, running out of options here. The defence, the swarming defence, the Manly Seagulls is just proving too much for the Broncos. They've got no answer at the moment.
Andrew G, cut down around the legs by Menzies. And he plays at 12 metres from the halfway. Kevin Walters, it goes across for Chris Johns. Johns inside. He picks up Madison. And Madison is put away by Tuvey.
Solomon Hamano moving to the sideline for Manly. I would imagine Ian Roberts may be the player to come off as the Broncos go wide. Alan Cairn also out there for them. And O'Neill into some space.
O'Neill's over the 40-metre line. Ridge goes across and cuts him down. 25 out. 5 tackles gone. Sailor, he finds Hancock. Hancock comes across the park. He links up with his centre partner. Johns away for Madison. Madison turns it back, and then they knock on, and it breaks down for Brisbane. That'll be a turnover for Manly.
Great cover defence from Matthew Ridge. First break that Brisbane have made for a long time. In fact, it's Mark Carroll who leads the field for Solomon Hamano. Danny Moore getting involved now. O'Neill looked as though he could have gone all the way, but Matthew Ridge, a try saver.
30 yards from his own line. And it is Terry Hill who tries to go between Darren Smith and John Plath. 14-4, 2 tries to 1. No change to that statistic. But Ridge was handed 2 penalties by Brisbane. Hasler on the halfway using Roberts. And you saw an example. Look at that work there. The arm didn't round even though he was tackled. Hasler across for Tuvey. Infield for Ridge. Ridge likewise Hamano. He's able to get away from Darren Smith, and that's a good trick. And now it's left to Andrew G to make the tackle. Ridge, a dummy half using Owen Cunningham. Cunningham, away it goes for Kosev. Kosev goes for the pedal. He's 22 metres out, centre of the ground, 5 tackles gone. Kosev to play it. Ridge, he kicks into the corner. He's looking for Jack Elsgood. Sailor's underneath it. And Sailor, oh, that's a magical take. Good work by him. Good work by Wendell Sailor. But it'll be a line drop out to restart.
Jack Elsgood was flying. The kick was pinpoint. Wendell Sailor never took his eye off the ball. It's a great take under extreme pressure.
That contest out there is such an example of how players come to the surface no matter what. Sailor is the name on everybody's lips these days. It's only 2 years ago Jack Elsgood was the Rookie of the Year, scoring 90-metre tries for Manly. And Ridge is 37 metres away from the Brisbane line. Elsgood, talking of him, comes up a dummy half. Hasler lurking behind him, waiting to do that job now. As Elsgood side the 30-metre point. 14-4. And now cross for Hamano. Hamano, as it comes away now with Hasler from dummy half. He takes a couple of paces, then goes back looking for his captain. Tuvey is there. And Tuvey, the referee says the tackle was around the shoulder. No reason to call a halt. Hasler goes out from dummy half. Hasler! 3 metres from the line. Desperation stuff again from the Broncos. This is the last tackle. He dropped it, got a kick on it, and Johns dives on it for Brisbane. And that was quick thinking, if nothing else, from the Manly second row forward. He drops it and gets a kick on it. In fact, it was Hopewadi, the winger, 20 metres out from the Brisbane line now. They come back to Langer. Langer goes around for Kevin Walters, and he is tackled just outside the 20-metre line. Chris Johns. The Langer-Walters combination has been a key factor in the Brisbane success of '95, but both little men were expected to do a lot of tackling in the first. That drains you. As Elsgood comes away with clean ball, 45 metres out from the Brisbane line.
Well, if you were told before this match that Cliff Lyons would be missing for 3/4 of the game, you would say that, well, Manly will struggle and their attacking game will suffer. It has not been the case at all. Kosev has settled in there beautifully, kept the ball alive at all costs. The second phase play off the likes of Ian Roberts has been tremendous. There it is there, offload to Owen Cunningham. Just a well-oiled machine, even without Cliff Lyons out there.
Hasler again. He realises that Brisbane are tired and he's running more and more from dummy half. He comes across to Langer, then to Kosev, then onto Cunningham. Cunningham back to Ridge. Ridge goes inside the 20-metre line. He's 15 out. He gets a pass away, but Langer's got it. Offside. And it's a penalty. It came off a Brisbane player into the hands of Langer. You'll find that's the way it's ruled. Just a reminder for you people in Perth, you've got a match over there tomorrow. It'll be a good one. The Western Reds up against North Sydney. And Barry Mather, is it Mather? I think he makes his debut for the Reds tomorrow. The Englishman, test player, good player. That's tomorrow at the Wacker. Ridge. From right in front, he doesn't. Is all too often. He raises the flags, and Manly rolling down the other side of the hill now, 16-4. Julian O'Neill, whose kickoff of the shallower variety, and Roberts runs it back in front of a crowd of 24,500. Big crowd. I don't think they can accommodate a crowd of 27,500 like they did against Parramatta here in 1986, when those two great rivals of the 80s came together. I don't think they would fit them in anymore here. So 24,500, I think, is right on capacity for the new look Brookvale Oval. I say thank you to them, because the facilities for the fans and for the media and the television are absolutely outstanding. It's good to come to work. Mr. Mono gets a one-hander away. Here's this freakish try scorer, Menzies. O'Neill's equal to him, and the crowd goes up and goes down again. Manly with an interrupted play the ball, and Tuvey knocks on.
Well, a rare mistake from Jeff Tuvey. I don't think they'll be too upset by it. Great ball here from Hamano. Steve Menzies, he doesn't mind chancing his arm. That shows great confidence. Tremendous tackle from Julian O'Neill along with Kerrod Walters. Now Brisbane through Wendell Saylor. Take the ball 25 out. And really, there aren't too many players lining up to take the football for the Queenslanders at the moment.
Line breaks. 5-2 Manly's way. It's incredible that it isn't a statistic of a much higher variety. Error count is levelling itself out quite considerably. Brisbane were at one stage 13-0 in front in the error count, but Manly has now made about eight themselves. As Langer goes across and finds John Plath, and then he pops it up for O'Neill, and O'Neill desperately trying to find an opening. It just doesn't come.
No, that's easy to counter, but Ray, they threw 4 passes before they actually got to the defence, and Manly are as good as any team. As a high kick puts Ridge under pressure, but not a great deal. Some good support from Des Hasler. A strong tackle there in the end, but really there was never any doubt that Ridge was going to take that ball comfortably.
Taking a bit of a buffeting today, Matthew Ridge. A couple of very strong tackles. Banged him into the ground. There's a penalty against Mattison. He's wrapped his arm out and around the throat of Danny Moore. And Danny Moore doesn't need high tackles following State of Origin 1.
I know it's a bit dangerous coming in. Right, I don't think there's too much in that. Well, it's a clumsy tackle. It really hurt Danny Moore at all, but it deserved to be penalised.
Danny Moore is okay. The penalty's 8-3 to Manly. They lead 16-4, and it would seem a sure thing that they're about to put the other big scalp on their belt. They got Canberra, and now they look like they've got Brisbane, and they've done it during State of Origin.
Again, the smart play for Manly now would be the field goal. They lead by 2 converted tries for 12 points. If they can make it 13, that will break the back of Brisbane, who are capable of scoring those points in a short period of time. Terry Hill nearly gets into the clear. If they had to score 3 times, that's an impossibility.
Tuvey now. Short ball up for Owen Cunningham, who puts it down. And play on, says referee Manson. Langer seizes the opportunity, goes looking for his fast men. Khan puts it down, and Hopewadi comes back. Langer goes up, makes the tackle on Hopewadi. He loses the ball. Manson sorts it out and says, play on. 6 more tackles, Manly. Manly crowd, they weren't impressed with Langer's tackle on Hopewadi. They were begging for a penalty, and then when he gave them 6 more tackles, the crowd sat down again. Terry Hill is 30 metres away from the Brisbane line. Now, Cunningham over the 20-metre line, ridden into the ground by Alan Cann.
Yeah, Matthew Ridge pointing his players to the posts, but no doubt that he will line one up if possible. Ian Roberts working to centre field, finds Hasler.
Then away for Menzies. Menzies trailing around his legs is the number 9, Kerrod Walters. Hasler sees no markers, then he runs it out for Gillespie, and Gillespie plays the ball. Hasler goes back for Ridge now. There's no pressure on him. He pops it over the uprights. 16 becomes 17, and Manly coasting to victory over Brisbane.
All too easy. Even though there was a sloppy play the ball in there, Matthew Ridge, one of the best exponents of the drop goal in the business. And that's wrapped it up for his side. What has been another outstanding performance from the Manly team.
O'Neill sending it deep, this time down to Ridge. 17-4. It's a long way back up the hill. 13 in arrears, as Peter said. They need to score a couple of times, and then they would still be a point short. Advance Bank, $1,000 Man of the Match award today. We're looking for the best Manly player on the park, I guess, at this stage.
Well, how difficult is that decision? It's the best game I've seen David Gillespie play for a couple of seasons. Nick Kosef has probably been their best to my mind, just with his involvement. John Hopewadi, what more can a winger do than his involvement?
Roberts has been great.
They haven't had a poor player out there, and Danny Moore continuing his great form of recent weeks. Matthew Ridge has been dominant there. Again, finds good field position. Julian O'Neill cleans up. It's been a good performance from Manly all over the park. That's why they're unbeaten on top of the table, because they share everything.
And of course, you watch now as Brisbane have got 5 players back behind the ball. I'm not making excuses for them, but the drain that Manly has placed on them, that's what has to be said. Manly has placed this drain on Brisbane, and Brisbane have added to their own problems as Gillespie comes off. And as Peter said, it's been a superb effort by David Gillespie.
They have added to their own problems, Ray, the Brisbane side, when you consider the fact they've had 2 players in the sin bin. So the workload, which was already fairly large after the first 20 minutes, was even worse when they've had a player short for a quarter of the match.
Well, the more we see of this Manly outfit in 1995, there's no doubts in my mind they're a better team than they were last year, when they were spoken about as a likely premiership contender. I think the records of the last few weeks speak for themselves. But Bob Fulton has, I think, this year got a real chance. It doesn't necessarily mean I'm switching from my original selection of County Manly. They give the impression they're going to be there on that last Sunday in September.
Can you imagine what Fatty would be like after a State of Origin win and a Manly victory?
Unbearable. But then again, it is normally. Carroll plays it now, and it's Kosef who comes across the back of the ruck. Menzies, he couldn't control it. It went out, and Tuvey comes up the centre. Darren Smith makes a tackle on him. Cunningham to the halfway. Terry Hill is there to support, and Hill is tackled 5 metres into Brisbane's area. There's a Bronco down injured. It's cramp for Darren Smith as Tuvey comes on for Hasler, and then it's away for Kosef. Up the middle goes Menzies. He's away from the front rower G. He's been pursued and caught by Michael Hancock. The ball is there for Brisbane's John Platt. He's away from Hopewadi. He's away from Hamano. Hopewadi's after him. Khan comes up, but it's all too late, and it goes over the sideline.
It's a penalty here for a high tackle against John Hopewadi, but it was tremendous defence because John Plath was into the clear, trying to position his winger Willie Kahn on the inside. They take the quick tap, the Broncos. Julian O'Neill, there's not much defence out there.
Well, he's away from a diving tackle by Roberts, and now a shuddering halt on the 20-metre line. He ran right across the park. He knocked back several options and then ran out of options. Saylor, a dummy half. Cam. Hasler goes high. Tuvey goes low. 10 metres out from the line, Brisbane. 13 points behind. Langer, Plath to the line. Johns. Out she goes. Smith. Khan. He'll make it, I think. Will he? No. No. It's been flagged away.
Well, even at this late stage, John Hopewadi, along with his Manly teammates, jealously guarding their try line. So see how close Willie Khan went. Line ball decision that, but the touch judge was in good position. Let's try and end up even a little bit better from this angle. You get the ball down before he goes over. No, I think it's a good decision. The arm was out.
His arm has just touched the outside section of the ground before he grasped the football. That was a good piece of work by that touch judge. There's Manly now with Elstood. He's taken high.
I guess so. It's Alan Cann.
It hasn't been Andrew G, it's been Alan Cann. He's on report, I'm told, Alan Cann, for this tackle. So Matthew Ridge takes the line kick. The tap 40 metres out from the Manly line. Carroll, that's his 24th hit up. And he's made 18 tackles. Cunningham. I suppose in many ways it'll be a deserving victory for Manly. And that this was the day they honoured Ken Arthurson with the opening of his own grandstand. This will put the icing on the cake for Ken, the chairman of the ARL. And a great servant for Manly. Here's Toovey inside the 20. This is Kosef. And Kosef gets it away. But Saylor is just as likely to run the length of the park. But Carroll is there. Toovey is let go with some explosive runs. So quick off the mark. Langer. Hancock. And now Carr away from Hopewadi. Here comes Ridge. Behind him is Danny Moore, and Moore makes the tackle. 25 out. Claff runs to the centre. Langer is there. Toovey's got him. And Allen will play the ball. 12 metres away from the line. Now it's Langer. Langer. It's back for Chris Johns, and Carroll comes over the top. Roberts underneath. You wouldn't meet two bigger men in World Championship Wrestling. Langer, he's put down. 5 metres out from the line. 17-4, Manly in front. Dying seconds. Cameron Walters runs into Carroll. Now, Langer thinking about what can we do this time. It's toe to forward. He doesn't have to worry about it. Hasler, he tries to get back. Oh, he does it with consummate ease. Desi Hasler back into the field of play.
Well, again, that's more respect for the Manly defence. They couldn't bust it. The man playing the football towed it through, couldn't get after it, and Des Hasler reacted much quicker than any other player in the field to get 10 metres back into the field of play. Cunningham now first receiver. And that's one of the strengths of this Manly side of bench. Owen Cunningham and Solomon Hamano have been tremendous since being injected into the game.
Moore. Hamano. Oh, he's got another great pass away. Danny Moore was there to support and almost got away. He did with the pass. Kosef inside for Menzies. Menzies up to the 30. Picks up Hasler. Hasler, he looks for Ridge. He finds Ridge. They find Hill. Hill, he's over. Oh, what a sensational try. Hamano, he started it. And Terry Hill, he finished it. Great stuff.
We have seen some great tries this year. You won't see many better than this one. The linking of the forwards and the backs. Terry Hill, he's had plenty to say, both with his mouth and his play out there this afternoon. Tremendous ball from Solomon Hamano. Going to the line, such a strong man. Danny Moore gets a great pass away, attracting 2 defenders. What about this ball from Kosef on the inside to Menzies? Lurking there, realises that the pass to Hasler is the way to go. O'Neill spins out of the tackle, so Hasler continues to play on. Ridge out to Terry Hill, throws the dummy, too much speed out wide. A tremendous try. Play. Steve Menzies in break and play. There's no better runner in the game. Desi Hasler, he's been a workaholic all afternoon. Matthew Ridge getting involved. Terry Hill, then the dummy there. Hancock staying out with the winger. Too much pace for the inside supports.
So the kick is successful. Ridge from way out there, successful with the conversion, and 23 points to 4. Manly. A tremendous effort by them. 4 of them backed up from origin duties. There can be hardly any excuses from the Broncos. They created a lot of their own pressures and troubles. But Manly, absolutely brilliant, and picking it up where they left off against Canberra.